Buddy, Mr. Conover here, and we want to hope you had a great long weekend. It is already Tuesday, and we're going to go through some stuff with our weekly assignment sheet and a little longer video today because I have some things I have to tell you about. So let's do fifth period today. Why not? Okay, we're always picking from different periods when we're looking. Of course, we have a weekly assignment sheet, so let's pull it up. As you can see, it's only 3 days, so there's not a lot to it. Oh gosh, that is big. Let's bring that down. 175%. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was grading your writing, and I wanted you to see it. No problem. All right, 110%. You guys give 110% all the time. No problem. All right, so no school Monday. Happy Columbus Day. Beautiful. Number 2, Tuesday. Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, have your 15 active reading comments in there. I'm going to check those off today, making sure you got them. So have them ready to go. Oh my gosh, what we're doing today? We're going to review some plot points of Sleepy Hollow. We're going to look at this characterization and setting. 2 big terms. We're going to do a little work with that. And look at this, a little change. I was under the impression that people would be here, but I think some people are going to be taken off and won't be here today or tomorrow. So what I did was I switched the Clear Quiz to Thursday, and it also gives us an opportunity to go over stuff on Tuesday. So if you've read it, wonderful. Just maybe look over one last time your stuff. If you didn't read it, this is kind of your get out of jail free card, as they say on Monopoly. But look at this. Do this on. This is going to be on Thursday. Weekly vocabulary, 8H only. There is no, if you look down at the bottom, there is no vocabulary for English 8. These are your words. They're uploaded to Google Classroom. No school on Wednesday. Thursday, we are in Computer Lab 940. We have something special we're going to do. Reading and writing skills workshop. What's the skill this week? The word characterization. All right. Direct and indirect, something we need to learn. Sleepy Hollow is a great story to teach that. The writing skill also has to do with characterization. Both of those, Group A and Group B, reading and writing skills workshop, are due Monday on 10/17. Whatever you complete in class, you should show Mr. Conover or any of my other co-teachers, Ms. Rainier, Ms. Eustace. Ms. Rainier is back, which is great. Let's take a look. You need to work on those things by Monday. I may even give you, we may do I'm sorry, there's a little typo here. We're going to do next week, begin to read The Monkey's Paw. And I have that for you, and I'd like you to have that done by the following week. Okay? And that's our new story that we're going to be taking a look at. All right, so that's pretty much our week. Not a lot. But let's talk about some other stuff. All right, now that we've gone through weekly assignments, I just want to go over some stuff for anybody that wasn't here in class today. Let's see. I'm going to go into my drive. If you'll just excuse me for 1 second, and I'm going to pull up and take a look at some of the stuff that we're covering today, just so you know. Being a little slow today. All right. Here are the details. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is our story for the week. And, of course, characterization and setting. All right. Where, and the who. Identifying these by looking at the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So let's go through some of this stuff. All right. So please pay attention. So we know what setting is, the time and place which a story takes place. But also we have to look at things like historical era, what was happening in history, social conditions, the time of day. All those things are very, very important when we're looking and analyzing a story based upon setting. We should know that Sleepy Hollow, so maybe some of you have even been there, goes by the name of Tarrytown, which is still there. Okay. If you can take a trip there, they actually have some pretty cool stuff about the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Looking at this, we see it looks like a very quaint little place. You know, we got to remember this is the 1700s when this was taking place. So, farming community, a lot of Dutch settlement, that kind of stuff. So, we gotta really consider those kinds of things. When Revolutionary War, we talk about the Hessian soldier being the legend or the headless horseman. All right, Hessian trooper whose head had been carried away by a cannonball in some nameless battle. Okay, so we can infer this is definitely after the Revolutionary War. It doesn't really tell us when, but we can infer that. Um, we know it had to be sometime after. And the story was published in 1820, so maybe we could say even 1790 would be our setting. Why is it important? Well, think about the mood. Think about where we are with the story's emotional impact. Okay, think about people had ghost stories and oral tradition and those kind of things. They didn't have TV. They didn't have social media. They didn't have any of these outlets. Okay, so things were probably pretty spooky back then because of the unknown that in the practice of oral tradition we talk about. Now, our next message is characterization, a method a writer uses to develop the personality of a character. And we can do this two ways. Okay, of course, we have our protagonist, who's our hero, and our villain, our antagonist. And as we've said before, sometimes those flip flop. It's one person appears to be the protagonist, they're actually the antagonist. But for this, it's pretty straightforward. But here's the thing I want to talk about: direct and indirect characterization. We'll start with direct. Direct is simple. When a writer makes direct statements about a personality, he's tall, she's short, she's happy, she smiles a lot. It's very, very, very direct. What we know about the character by what's directly said. Indirect, when a writer reveals information about a character and his personality or her personality through the character's words, thoughts, actions, and how other characters respond, including what they say and think about them. So it's pretty much indirect infers. Direct is direct. Indirect infers about that character, what we get from other people, what we get from what they say, from what they do. All right. Direct characterization tells the reader. It's a good way to remember it. Indirect characterization shows the reader. Which one's more likely to engage the reader's imagination? Well, the answer is clear: indirect, because direct is pretty simple. You don't really have to think about it. Let's do a little exercise here. Thinking about Mr. Clark. I look at him in this picture. He's tall. He's casual. He's got gray hair. He's got a beard. You know, he smiles a lot. That's direct. Indirect characterization. Well, maybe I could infer that he's a pretty smart guy because he talks really fast. Or maybe I could make an inference that he's disorganized because his room's a mess. I'm just kidding. No, he's a pretty organized guy. It's called organized chaos, people. All right, Mr. Surgat, same thing. What can we make about him? Well, we know he's bald. Okay, so am I, so I can say that. All right, but indirect, we could say that he is driven. How do I know that? Because I know that Mr. Surgat works tirelessly around here to make sure his kids learn. He's a good teacher. He's a good guy. Let's see. Example of characterization. Let's see. Tell me what this is. He was tall, but with exceedingly lank, narrow shoulders, long arms and legs, hands that dangled a mile out of his sleeves, feet that may have served for shovels, and the whole frame most loosely hung together. It's on page 818 of our story. And of course, is that direct or indirect? Looks like direct to me. They're directly describing what he is: long, tall, skinny. Okay. But on this one right here, in this place, by place of nature, there abode some 30 years a worthy fellow by the name of Ichabod Crane, who was adjourned the sleepy hollow for the purpose of instructing the children of the vicinity. Maybe we could infer that a worthy fellow, okay, we could tell he's a teacher because he's instructing children, but a worthy fellow. So maybe we can infer that he is a driven teacher as well. Maybe he, for some 30 years, maybe we could say because he's taught for 30 years that maybe he is seasoned. Maybe he is really, really good at his job. Maybe he is dependable. So we're making inferences. That's indirect characterization. Direct is a vivid description, real simple. This is more of an inference about what we don't see. All right. So as we continue, as you continue reading, I want you to look for examples of direct and indirect. In fact, today we're going to be doing a little exercise where I give you 4 of those things, and we want you to make sure you do a good job with that. So in case any of you missed class today, we have the weekly assignment sheet update and, of course, our ideas of setting and characterization is pretty much what we're going to go over today. We will do a little exercise with it. It won't be a graded homework assignment, but it'll be something that we want you to take a look at. Reading and writing for this week, I'll do another video on that so we know what's going on with that. Bye-bye for now.